It's Art Addicts Alliance Day for June, and we're doing conspiracy theories. You may be wondering, Jenna, if this is about conspiracy theories, why are you drawing something that looks an awful lot like an illustration of Discworld? To you I say, good eye. Keep watching to find out. Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. So yes, it's the third Friday of the month, and that means all the members of the Art Addicts Alliance who are able to upload this week will be putting out a video that fits into the theme of conspiracy theories. Most videos should be out today, but some of our members may need an extra day or two. It seems this topic proved harder than we thought it would when we voted for it. And also remember, we're all over the world, so time zones are a thing. My video is probably not the first up, even though I'm the earliest time zone in North America. The Art Addicts Alliance is a group of art channels here on YouTube who collaborate on a themed upload every single month. We cap out at 15 permanent members and 1 or 2 per month featured guests, and at this time we do have a couple spaces open. If you're interested in joining us and you've got at least 100 subscribers, then send us a message on our Facebook page. In order to join, you'll need to audition, and you do that by making an unofficial guest video using one of our recent past topics, which you can do at any time. If you're not ready to commit to permanent membership, if you don't have enough subscribers to qualify, or if you'd like to audition using our next theme and uploading at the same time as us, feel free to request a featured guest spot for next month or another future month. Our current permanent members besides myself are Jazz Capri, Weblight Dreams, Pan-Dimensional Space Zombie, All Funnies and Games, Kimber Kiwi Art, Aurora's Art World, The Lori Files, Blue Flynn, Invoke Art Sense, and Artfully Yours with Diana. And sadly, we don't have a featured guest artist this month. For more information, check out our Facebook page, and don't forget to watch everyone else's conspiracy theory videos. I'll have the page and all the other channels linked in the description down below and in the pinned comment. If you're here in the first few days after upload, we'd also love your input on our theme for July. Go ahead and vote in the theme poll, also linked below. Personally, I'm hoping for ridiculous product designs, though that wasn't my suggestion. I believe mine was 90s TV commercials. I was thinking House Hippo, which I think only my Canadian viewers will understand. Moving on, let's talk about the conspiracy theory I've picked, the illustration I'm working on, and how it fits together. Yes, you eagle-eyed viewer, I am illustrating Discworld. If you're unfamiliar with Discworld, it's the setting for most of Terry Pratchett's fantasy novels. It's a flat disc of an Earth-like world held up by 4 elephants, which in turn are standing on the back of a large space turtle. I'm using probably the most recognizable royalty-free photo out there of a tortoise as my reference for that space turtle, and I've gone with the cardinal direction arrangement of the elephants rather than tandem pairs arrangement that some artists draw, because Pixabay had a few manipulated photos of herds of elephants standing in this arrangement, and that made this decision particularly easy. All I had to do was draw the 2 references stacked and then add the disc. If you haven't figured it out by now, the conspiracy theory I've chosen that ties in with a Discworld illustration is the flat Earth theory. It makes perfect sense that ancient civilizations, back before we could accurately observe the stars and planets as more than just slow-moving points of light in the night sky, thought the world was flat. This was a time before transportation technology that made it possible for the average person to travel great distances in their lifetime, or go high enough to observe the curvature of the Earth. But of course, now we know better. Or at least most of us do. The Flat Earth Society, yes, that's a real thing, was established in 1956 by Samuel Shenton. Take note of that year, 1956. This was the dawn of the Great Space Race. The Russians put Sputnik 1, the first satellite, into orbit in 1957. Animals had been meeting the unfortunate fate of being stuffed onto rockets to enter Earth's upper atmosphere and even break out into space for a decade. The first manned spaceflight, achieved by Yuri Gagarin, took place in 1961. The Flat Earth Society was established half a decade before that, and a year before Sputnik. Shenton firmly believed that the Earth was flat, and that the prospect of putting satellites into orbit didn't disprove that, because the Earth was flat and round like a disc. Naturally, you can circle a disc. He wasn't worried. His goal was to educate children on the true flat nature of our world before modern science tried to teach them otherwise. His views weren't popular until 1967, when the Apollo program started to become controversial when an entire crew perished in a fire on the launch launch pad. Why that is what made some portion of the population start listening to Shenton, I do not know, but we are dealing with the sort of minds who fervently believe in all sorts of conspiracy theories. I wouldn't be surprised to find that they think the fire was intentionally set because NASA wasn't ready to show proof of their spherical Earth yet, but they couldn't just delay launch because of the space race with the Russians, so they staged a tragic accident that would set them back. Sounds like something they would believe. No doubt they think the moon landing was fake as well. The arguments the Flat Earth Society makes to disprove a spherical Earth are morbidly fascinating. A lot of it sounds rational until you poke it with the stick of well-studied physics. Charles Johnson, who took over the Flat Earth Society in 1972, points out that if Earth is a sphere, then the surface of all large bodies of water must demonstrate a curve. After somehow measuring the surface of Lake Tahoe and the Salton Sea, he found both of these were level and concluded that, therefore, the Earth is flat. These are both lakes, by the way, despite the name sea. First, I ask, how the heck do you measure whether or not the entire surface of a lake is level? Did they get a stupidly long rope, tied off across the lake on opposite shores, and then sail out into the middle to see if the rope was submerged? That sounds like you couldn't possibly control for confounding factors like wind, waves, and whether or not both ends of the rope remain secure at precisely the same altitude from sea level. Second, I'd like to point out that a lake is most definitely too small given the size of the Earth to actually see a curve. In much more recent years, flat earthers have performed experiments during commercial flights to prove their point. Notably, some flat earthers have taken small bubble levels on their flights, laid these carpentry tools down on their tray table while the aircraft was cruising, and argued that since the bubble remains perfectly level, they are not traveling over a curve. They argue that they should observe a steady tilting evident by movement in the bubble level if they are indeed traveling over a curve. What they fail to understand is that's not how gravity works. Even at cruising altitude for a commercial aircraft, you are just barely airborne compared to the vast difference between you and the core of the Earth. Even though gravity pulls toward the center of the Earth, you haven't removed yourself far enough from the surface to see a translation in the pull of gravity. You are still experiencing a pull of gravity directly downward. In order for that bubble level to show a tilt, there needs to be a horizontal component to the pull of gravity, and in order to experience that under constant velocity, not speeding up or slowing down, at such a close distance from the surface of the Earth, you'd have to be traveling at a speed greater than escape velocity, which is the speed you have to exceed to break orbit. An aircraft cruising at constant velocity is essentially in extremely low orbit. The point where all of this makes the leap from a group of misinformed or willfully ignorant people believing in bad science to full-blown conspiracy theory is when flat earthers claim that NASA and similar organizations around the world are government cover-ups fabricating evidence of a spherical globe. Most flat earthers believe that the edges of Earth are lined in a great ice wall known as Antarctica, and that NASA is guarding that wall so that unauthorized individuals can't know what's beyond it. For the record, in case it wasn't obvious from my tone and my efforts to point out fallacies here, I am 100% a glober, as they would call me. I know the Earth is a sphere. Mostly. It's a little squished. Look it up. And I know that humans have been in space and on the moon. Mostly, I enjoy flat earthers as a source of entertainment, and I've given up on arguing directly against them because it's pointless. Most of them are trolls anyway. But of course, whenever I think of flat Earth, the nerdy bookworm in me thinks of Discworld. This representation of a flat world resting on the back of 4 elephants standing on the back of a turtle is not unique to Pratchett's novels. The world turtle is a pervasive myth in civilizations and religions around the world, though of course most modern societies accept it as a myth and not reality. Thanks so much for watching. If you've come here from one of the other member channels, I'd very much appreciate it if you would subscribe and stick around. And if you started here, don't forget to check out everyone else's videos. If you're looking for something else to watch, I've got some suggestions up on the left-hand side of the screen now, or if you'd like to listen to me talk about writing and bookish things, go ahead and check out my second channel, the Westvale Archives, over on the right. I upload art content twice a week at minimum, every Tuesday and Thursday, and if you like living life creatively, whatever that means to you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Bye guys!